knowing the Dota community, and I'm like, man, I feel so bad for doing this.
Oh yeah, you know he's having.
But yeah, but so yeah, I'm getting off topic here. Drafting. So I feel like drafting. It's hard to really put a percentage or like this is more important than this in Dota. I mean, Dota is so complex, but especially drafting, I feel like that's so big. So I guess you're saying that y'all are having a hard time finding a drafter. I think that's probably a big issue there. Not having a drafter that I don't know that is confident because obviously if you have people switching drafting and stuff, Monkeys wasn't too confident. He's like, "Come on, guys, y'all can do this if you want to." So
Yeah, he wasn't too confident. I mean, I definitely think that a big issue is the lack of practice.
uh huh,
Like drafting practice is just about as important, if not more important, than actual game practice. You
yeah,
know, like it's really important. So we only had a few days to scrim, and we had one strat that was really powerful that we were really confident in, and it involved Wisp, and we used it against Team Freedom, and we slaughtered them,
yeah.
and everybody banned Wisp after that, and we didn't get Wisp a single other
Ah,
time.
really?
Actually, we got Wisp twice after that, and every time we got Wisp, it was just a stomp.
Yeah,
And
you guys beat Team Freedom, and that was that
that
you
got
beating
NP.
them fucked them. Like they didn't get that direct invite because you guys
Yeah,
beat them.
I actually, I mean, it's Dota. Like you have to always try. You know, they lost fair and square,
Oh
and I
yeah,
think they should feel that, and I'm sure they do. Like they're not the type of players to be like, oh, Team Red, how could they do that's not them. I know those guys. That's not them. They're
yeah.
very sportsmanlike.
Hmm.
But I mean, it would still definitely it would still definitely hurt to
Oh
lose
yeah,
to. I mean, especially because we were basically losing to to everybody. Um,
yeah.
as a result of Wisp getting banned, for fuck's sakes. But I do feel a little bad, even though like I know those players and I know they wouldn't. I don't want to say they wouldn't hold it against me because I don't think in any world they would hold it against anybody for beating them at Dota. Like it's
Right.
you're a competitive player, it's fair. But I still feel a little bad because we're pretty good friends with most of those guys on
Really.
Team Red. Are yeah, we're like they're just a bunch of great guys, and it's just unfortunate that that opportunity passed them just barely because of us. You know,
It
it
sucks.
kind of
It
feels.
sucks that they had to deal with you guys.
But with that being said, we were actually pretty confident coming into the qualifiers because of uh, scrim results. Scrim results. We were beating really good teams in scrims, and I guess I won't like cite who because
Yeah,
quoting
well,
scrim results is kind
you
of
guys
fucked up.
made it to
But
the round robin. I mean, you guys obviously had to win a lot of games to get to that point, right?
uh, well, we didn't have to go through the opens, so
Oh, you didn't?
no, we were just directly invited. But the thing is,
Ah,
right before the round robins of the TI qualifiers, we actually competed in the Galaxy battles,
yeah.
uh, LAN qualifiers, and we were tied for second with Team Freedom, and I don't remember the other teams, but basically we solidified the fact that we weren't a shitty team.
Yeah,
We were like,
exactly.
okay, we're tied for second in a LAN qualifier. It had Peruvian teams in, or the South American teams in it too. So
Uh,
this is the infamous that's going to the international. So
yeah,
really good teams. They got first place. And actually, if we had beaten Infamous, we would have gone to the LAN because we would have beaten them in the head to head, and then
yeah,
we would have won the tiebreaker. But anyway, so technically we had proven results wise that we weren't a shitty team.
for
I,
sure.
I, I just think that okay, I went to China and our other support player went to California for the summit. So we were just doing like casting stuff, and we came back, and I think both of us were like, "Well, that was a good experience." But with
Now
that
we
being
gotta
said,
play.
we had to play so
Yeah.
soon after, and I don't want to just blame that because obviously there's so much to Dota,
Oh
but
yeah.
that definitely practice definitely helps a lot. I mean, the thing we practiced the most was that Wisp strat, and it was, I mean, we were just destroying people with it.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, like you said, y'all are great contenders, but I feel like it would have been a good thing for y'all to go through open qualifiers. I think you would have made it through, and that would have been great practice.
I definitely do agree that. I mean, it's actually it's great practice, and it builds up your resilience.
Yeah,
You really have to be a consistent team to not fuck up 12 times in a row. It's
yeah,
pretty hard.
yeah,
So
and just
it
team
builds up that
just team
resilience.
composition. I mean, just like playing with your team and learning, each other's little quirks and whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, kind of sucks, but I'm not sure what's gonna happen next season. The whole kind of landscape of Dota seems to be like it's potentially changing with those new major minors that Valve announced. So
Yeah, so that's something I want to bring up, and actually, I'm gonna throw out a little highlights on that just in case any of the people listening have not seen that or read it. So, what he's talking about is this next 2017 to 2018 Dota 2 season. They're getting rid of the three majors that they normally sponsored themselves, and they're going to start working with third-party tournaments. There's still going to be minors and majors. They didn't say, there's going to be this many majors and this many minors. I think that's just really dependent on how many third party tournaments can come up with the amount of money needed. But so the amount of money needed for a major is going to be $500,000 for the third party to come with that on their own, and then Valve is going to match them 500,000. So it's still going to be the same. It's still going to be that base $1 million prize pool. Then I'm thinking they would do some crowdfunding as well, if I had to imagine with that.
I would assume so.
Yeah, I would have to think so. And then so the miners have to have at least 150,000 as a base, again through the third party, and same way Valve is going to match the 150,000. So there may be a good bit of miners coming out of this whole setup, because I feel like 150,000 really isn't that big a deal. How much was the Summit 7?
That's a good question. I mean, I would imagine it was above $150,000.
Yeah, like I feel like it's, I don't know,
100,000.
like
100,000. I mean, dude, this is BTS we're talking about. They could easily throw another 50 grand on top of that to
right?
make it a minor, and I'm sure they would.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure they would. I mean, they might go for a major. I mean,
I was about to say, actually, I don't even know that it wasn't like 200,000, and finding sponsors, and I don't know. The Summit might be a major next year. I'm just throwing that out there. That might happen,
it
which
could
would be
I mean,
awesome.
that would be awesome. I mean, they're the biggest studio. They're the biggest dog in
In the
the
Dota
dog
community.
the dog kennel.
Yeah.
That was a sick analogy. All right.
Yeah.
But I don't know who else really would deserve a major over those guys. I'd love to see a Moonduck major. That'd be awesome.
That would be
dude.
super cool, man.
God, that'd be awesome. Those
It
guys are
really
so funny.
would. It really would. Who who's the head dog over there? Since we're talking about kennels here, who's the big dog over there?
Moonduck?
Yeah,
Ziore.
Ziore.
He's a big dog. Yeah.
Gotcha. What is Purge in the thing there? Is he a puppy or?
I think he's probably a pretty big big dog.
Yeah.
He's not quite a poodle, but like a Rottweiler.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, enough with the dog. So I'm gonna keep on going on with these with these bullet points on this 2017-2018 season. So not only is the money a thing, so there has to be at least one qualifier from all 6 regions for these to be majors and minors.
Oh
So,
yeah, that's a big deal too.
yeah, and I wasn't sure. I guess they can be selective. I don't think they have to be open qualifiers. It didn't specify whether it had to be open qualifiers, so I would have to assume that it's not. So it'd probably just be invites, right?
Yeah, probably. Although it's not that hard to run an open qualifier through Faceit, and if you're talking like South America, it's pretty hard to find 10 teams to invite to a
Right.
qualifier.
Right. So
So,
yeah, that's exciting. So we're looking at a lot of well put together Dota is what
and then
that
there's
looks like to me.
the point system too. You get like your invite to TI depends on the amount of points that you gain for winning majors and minors.
Yeah, so qualifying points is what they termed it, and so you get qualifying points. You get it's based on the prize pool. So the larger the prize pool, the more quality points you get for winning or placing in it, and you also get more quality points depending on the time of year. Like if it's closer to TI and you win a large tournament, you're gonna get or a major. Let's just say major. You're gonna get more quality points. All the people on your team for winning that tournament than you would winning a major, say, in January. So that's pretty cool. I
Oh
think that
yeah,
they
and
quantified
then
that.
I think it's the top three players on your team are the only ones that matter for
Yeah,
qualifying points. So
exactly.
you could technically, I think they said it was to promote bringing in kind of new blood,
Yeah,
which is cool with me. I wouldn't mind trying out for a tier one team, man. I'll take it.
super cool, man. I love that. And not only that, it's going to make it to where you can trade players outside of the allotted trading time because you keep your points if you pick up a player during the allotted lock-in time. But if you trade a player, lose a player, whatever outside of that time, you lose your points. But I mean, say you have a position 5 somewhere who is on a shitty team, and they don't have barely any quality points. Well, it doesn't matter because your position 1, 2, and 3 are probably gonna have the most quality points. I would think. I mean, I don't know how it's gonna work, but yeah, just pick up that awesome position 5 from that tier 2 team, and it doesn't matter about your invites. Like the quality points will be the same.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of the nice part. So you're not they're putting in this new system, which is like cool and interesting, but they're at least foreseeably they're not screwing over any sort of invites to these teams. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
we think this will work. At the very least, it's on Valve's radar that they're like, "Who? Okay, maybe if we aren't the ones inviting, maybe there could be some issues with people just teams staying completely locked because they want to keep their points. You know,
yeah,
which would obviously not be ideal because teams just constantly get one or two new players.
man. I just feel like this whole setup is bringing more money into Dota, and
Yes,
I
I
mean,
feel exactly the same, and I'm so fucking happy about that.
yeah,
I'm
like
so happy about that as a tier two player. Good God.
it's huge, man. Like it's making it to where. So Space was telling me the other day, he's like, I think he was talking about someone on Team Freedom, maybe. There's a guy on their team that had a full time job or something. Maybe it was odd, odd. I don't know. I
Same.
don't know. But anyways, he was saying someone that has a full time job, he quit to participate in this tournament or whatever. And I was like, yeah, like that sucks that people can't do that more often because the money is not, it's just not there for, like you said, tier 2, tier 3 teams. But if we get more money out there and more tournaments and more minors, there's going to be, you know, tier 1 teams not going to certain minors, and that's going to leave.
Yeah, yeah. That's the great part. Okay. Tier tier two teams can be the same skill level as they are right now, and they're going to go to lands. Team Freedom is going to go to lands for sure because DCs and complexities, depending on how well they're doing it at the time,
Mm,
teams aren't going to be competing in these minors, and presumably there's going to be a lot of them because they're going to be practicing for majors. They're going to be competing in majors.
yeah,
Like there's going to be spots, and at the very least, there's going to be more Dota. There's going to be more exposure, which means more sponsors, which means more team houses and coaches being paid for, which means better tier two teams, which means more tier one teams, which means better Dota, which means better esport and more money, and
right,
everything
exactly.
grows.
I think you
Like
nailed it.
basically everything at the very least we can see that Valve are they're going in the right direction, and I'm not saying that as if I'm like, oh, this isn't the right I have no idea whether or not this is going to work,
Yeah,
just because there's so much that could happen, But I'm really glad that Valve, and I would always talk to people about this problem with the tier 2 scene, and players have this skill set that people are willing to pay for. Like, there's people who make tons of money in coaching, and yet there are